Hi there. So, as promised, I do a healers and healing reading. First of all, I'd like to address some issues that many are having right now with dark magic attacks on YouTube, believe it or not. Not just on social media, as many of us are finding right now. But last night, myself and my husband, yet again, received another energy drain attack. Now, at the time, I was getting a lot of 144,000 light worker codes through as well. And at the same time, we were being energy drained down from this side. Adam and I, my husband, were sitting by a fire, just burning off old energy that we no longer wanted to keep in our lives, energetically cleansing and healing of the soul, envisaging, past hurts to go into the fire as a different way of healing and holistic way of healing, not just for ourselves, as Adam's a learning healer from me now, but also from an autistic coping mechanism point of view. It works wonderful, holistic care, and it's what I've always combined with my own children in autism. Obviously done it naturally my whole life, being qualified in autism. So I'm obviously, being a holistic healer, I knew which combination healing needed to be brought forward to the table for the reasons why we're still working together today to create a better healthcare system for many. So what happened last night was another psychic attack, because I was actually meant to do a reading yesterday. The reading that I'm going to give you to you today I was meant to do yesterday, but as we're finding here, if it's something important that needs to be discussed, a distraction will be brought in by these shadow entities and dark entities, people being summoned, stuff like that, entities being summoned to us. So it latches on to that energy. And we're all being hit in waves with it at this moment in time, and even I'm struggling. That's why I stepped up my own sage and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get one of everything, because it happens when I'm affectionate with my family. It always seems to attack us when you're affectionate with your loved ones. I've lost a lot of very, very close loved ones over the pandemic and forward, through one thing or another, which makes me think, while I was stepping back at the time, I couldn't protect everybody. So I did try and try and do my own sort of cancer healing at the time, on top of trying to track down these problems within our care system, obviously within the NHS, helping to voice it for Shropshire. I had a lot on my plate at the time, so there are things still coming forward for healing for everybody at a planetary level in terms of what went on in the pandemic. Now, those in the know will, and those who have got my documents will realise what I tracked it down to. And something that I've been long doing is tracking down the sex trafficking and paedophile ring in Shropshire, obviously because of my own past being sexually abused. And the things that I went through in my early years, sort of what things in my family and things around me at the time, I hit a low stage at about 18 to 20. As I came through it, I went through the lines of criminology and working for the police force, trying to figure out why humans would hurt children in this way. And it is something that I have been so against for a very, very long time. Obviously, Granny Jean, being a foster care mum, I was positioned to look after some victims of the 80s sex, trafficking scandal that went on then. I had a head start because of my own family. From that moment on, I learned through Jim to energy track. He taught me how to be a good energy tracker, and once you've been at the brunt of one of these paedophilic and sex attacks, you know the energy of a paedophile, you know the energy of a sex trafficker, especially if you're like me and you've felt that energy in others your whole life. And I know from a soul level what it's done to me over the years, and then coming across victims needing healing still in all directions. Obviously Shropshire, Telford, there's a massive paedophile and sex trafficking ring that my family started to track down in the 70s. You know, family members became police officers to help track those said paedophiles and sex traffickers down. Then as my grandmother retired, and she retired out of foster care, there was a gap in the foster care system. I noticed an increase in the paedophile and sex trafficking ring in Shropshire. We went through the brunt of it, as Shrewsbury Prison was well known as a paedophile prison that housed paedophiles. And when Shrewsbury Prison was shut down, what they actually did was bagged and tagged them and loosed them out onto the streets. Everybody in Shropshire still shudders for what happened in the events after, when my children were little. And it was literally, they targeted every children's school in Shropshire. And we as parents were fighting back against that, terrified for our kids at the time, all trying to voice what was going on, and all falling on deaf hands. An entire community worked together, and I spent my entire children's lives trying to voice this, and I tracked it right through the system from the top to the bottom. And if you think YouTube's safe, dark web, the book boxes, YouTubers buying the book boxes and dark web, and usually they are bought, and this is what I learned from criminology and getting confirmations from my mediums and spirit guides, and hello to you all out there. I'm still trying to fight through this as much as you all are on these energy attacks. I'm sick of them now too. But from going through trying to voice all of this, my children's lives in Shropshire, we all did, you know, and hearing police sirens continuously, I think every parent in Shropshire can agree and pray and hope that they've got most of them now, because what they did was bag, tagged and loosed them out to the community, and then they went for the schools. And then it became a case of cat and mouse and hunt down the paedophile. I learned to energy track them during that time of my children's childhoods, while being attacked by the corruption itself within social services. Why? Because I was a spiritual healer who knew a thing or two about the care system and what it should be. From having family in all directions in the care system, in the NHS, in private healthcare, you know, and being in and out of hospital with cancer and trying to voice that in the first place was difficult, really, really difficult. I'm going to be producing a healer's report, by the way, for how we can holistically look at this with cancer, because obviously not many of us that went through cancer at that time that are still here, or those that have lost family to cancer, didn't get their counselling services. None of us were offered counselling. I stepped up as a holistic healer and went, right, what can I do? Even though I was trying to heal from my own cancer, I stepped up to the plate and said, right, I've got this experience, what can I do? And my guides helped along the way as well. So tracking down the energy and the dark energy that creates these paedophiles and sex traffickers globally. And it's shocking the amount around the planet and why people have allowed this to happen for so long, and they think they get away with it for so long, is beyond me. I went through a paedophile and sex trafficking ring in my own childhood twice. Once in my own life, second time helping somebody else through it, who I still take care of to this day, and she's still alive, because suicide rates are high in victims of sex trafficking, paedophiles. I focus my energy on helping people heal. I've been doing that a very long time. And, you know, the realities of that are harsh, and it does play about with your mental health. It really does. When you see things from this level, it really screws about with your mental health. That's why a lot of healers are even fighting that right now, and their mental health. As you elevate your energy, you realize more, oh my God, how corrupt is this planet? And then, boom, dark night of the soul, elevates, heals. And that's how it works for us healers, you know, and it's hard. It is so, so hard. And I've been given the mission by my spirit guides of tracking down paedophiles and sex traffickers. And I've been doing that most of my life, silently, where I can, protecting children. The one thing I can't bear is children being harmed. It's one of my biggest pet hates. Having delicately loved my own children their whole lives, it really gets to my soul, and why I decided, right, I'm going on energy tracking around the planet. And, you know, it is shocking when you confirm it with energy and realize how many there are still out there. And what I do when I find the spirit of these paedophiles, and we have many of them in Shrewsbury, and I used to live by the prison, and we used to have escapees jump over the fences when they managed to escape. When it was shut down, every time I went past it, I crossed over some of the spirits that were still stuck there. One of the biggest ones there is the governor. As many people know him, is a very dark energy spirit that attacked me and nearly caused me to quit mediumship for good, especially when he knocked me through a roof. But energy tracking them down really needs to be focused on right now. That's something that my guides are saying for healers. If you are a good energy tracker and you utilize your mediumship and learn to, with your Reiki healing, remember, touch the ground. Feel the energy of the ground. What we're getting at the moment is old earth energy coming to the surface, bubbling up, which is having a knock-on effect on soul remembrance. Little top tip for healers, you know, what we're feeling right now that none of us can place our finger on, and we know it's like a dark energy or dark magic, and that's why we're all learning, put your shields up when you feel that even slight energy drain come down. We're learning it's because it's coming up from the surface from a planetary level. It's soaked up so much human energy, it can't take any more. That's why we need to draw out, as medium, as Reiki practitioners right now, draw out the energy from the earth, send it up to the universe, recycle it in the universe, because that will create a better balance for the planet. I mean, I go along the ley lines. I track paedophiles along the ley lines too, you know, and do what I can where I can. But all this muddled energy, and we're feeling a lot of great energy, and I agree, but we're also feeling a lot of old wound energy. You know, for me, having to voice an entire paedophile and sex trafficking ring that I'd spotted globally was hard-hitting on the mental health afterwards, and that happened at the time while I was cancer healing. Just lost Jim. Just lost some major family, very, very close family members. And I've lost Piles and my children too. And it's hit me in every way possible. And I've fought against it every single day. And some days I feel the sorrow of the children I couldn't save in time. I even lost children that I was helping to heal from old wounds that came to me for advice. You know, my children, I've had to counsel my own children's autism, undiagnosed at the time, remember, through grieving. Now, college, as I've been informed, aren't trained in grief counselling. Working in elderly care, I learned grief counselling, obviously because I used to dress the bodies for the coroners. So, you know, spotting a lot of criminology from working with varying bodies over the years, I learned where the problems were, and then I looked at holistically, what can we do about it? Holistically, how can we save the NHS? Holistically, how can we save the planet? Holistically, how can we bring everything back together and bring a better balance for the planet, because the planet is erupting in all directions. And I place plenty of protection around many people my whole life. I just top up the energy where I can. You think a lifetime's worth of Reiki. Remember, I was a natural healer in my childhood. Animals, children. My old school reports are filled with, I was known as the helper. Mirror image of my daughter growing up. But, you know, it's hard. And when you've been in this line of work your whole life, from all directions you could, finding the solutions, yes, we found some great ones in all directions. I've got a lot of write-ups still to do for those. And finding them is great, but it can still impact your mental health. And it's why it's all important now we all voice mental health and how we can heal it. That's what I've even put in the documents. From a mental health point of view, remember, I had to heal myself from my cancer. Not just body-wise, mental health-wise too. Then I had to guide my autistic family, and I have an entire family of disability and mental health difficulties, you know, ones that I know about. So I chose to stay back and guide and help people through it, through the healing journey and process of life, through difficulties and challenges. And doing that your whole life does have an impact on your mental health. It does, no matter which way you look at it, from support staff to patient, you know. Everybody's mental health has been impacted by the pandemic. So everybody has up and down days. That's only going to be natural because of the amount of people we lost in the pandemic. Why I'm still working flat out with the spirit realm, you know. It's constant. For me at the moment, mediumistically at home, it's constant. It never switches off. It's 24/7 in my sleep. I'm doing my mediumship. And, you know, Adam constantly gets frustrated, but then he's got his magic. So, you know, I'm constantly on the go with the mediumship, carrying on my day, in amongst taking care of a lot of disability in my own family, let alone standing up for other people's disabilities and mental health needs. So trying to help as many as we can through the difficulties that are around the planet. For instance, children are going to be affected in schools. Schools have got to reassure children at this point in time, all schools around the planet, because it's going to have an impact on the children we brought up holistically. So we need to work on as a care unit for everybody now. Work on ways that we can holistically heal an entire planet, easing people's mental health at the same time as what we can do to heal the planet itself, and creating the balance of the karma that's happening around the planet right now. And that's what we're trying to do, is create that eternal balance between light and dark within ourselves. But as we do it within ourselves, we also have to do it for the planet. That's what my guide showed me about 4 or 5 years ago. And that's why I started bringing forward solutions, still fighting through cancer and things like that. And the journey has been so difficult. I think my worst point ever is losing Jim as my best friend, him passing away. And spending a lifetime with him, it still hits my children to this day. You know, we all miss him. We all love him to bits. We know he's still here, you know. So that was the hardest point. The second for me was losing my grandfather in a very similar way. And it's hard. It is really hard. And that's, you know, people in my family have long known that, you know, my family, my parents saw that Jim was like my grandfather in many ways. That's why it hit me so hard twice. And learning different ways of healing from all angles. And it's something that my guides have long shown me. We need to make these changes for the planet, for the better. That's why I created the documents. Because I think after my cancer, I'd hit that all-time low and went, you know what? This has got to change. Look at all this going on around the planet. I've got my original journals from the beginning of 2000. You know, 2020 and 2000. I think that must be important. I've said 2000, I meant 2020. Millennium. Something happened around Millennium Bug. Check on that. But diaries from 2020, I just looked at a planet and thought, are you kidding me? Really? All of this? And I thought, and with my cancer on top, and then I realised that someone was after my life. And I thought, no, this has got to end. This has got to stop. This cannot go on. We have to work together to stop energies like this. This can't be acceptable, whether, you know, someone's in love with someone or anything like that. Look at the planet around you. Look at the energy around you. Does it matter if my hair's long or short? Does it matter if I have a tummy right now? No, it shouldn't. What should matter is planet. Look at around the planet collapsing. Although we are seeing a collapse in the old system in a great way, you know, and it is starting to see results in the UK in some areas, negotiable in others. You know, we've still got a lot of work to do in others, but we're seeing changes. No matter which way you look at it, we are seeing changes and creating a combined and shared healing idea, and realizing where a lot of problems were that we had to look at in order to create solutions is why I created the documents. I also gave holistic ways forward into healing many difficulties of the mind surrounding disability and things like that, going from that angle, reversing the process in a lot of conditions that I found in my own body so far, and then realizing some for my daughter, some for my son, some for my sister who's, you know, disabled, some for my brother and my stepfather, they're all disabled, you know. So stepping up for disability and creating healing in ways never imagined. And it's about opening up the creativity right now, even though this old wound, planetary wound now, going back into history, the old wounds are coming forward. That's why your soul's remembering. That's why we're being hit with these soul remembrance moments as the energy lifts from the old negative energy, lifts from the earth, as we are supposed to be doing as healers with the planet. As angelic guides have said to me, get more people on board on this, lifting the energy upwards out of the earth in order to create balance and healing. So healing the soul of the earth, essentially, that's what we're going to be doing from what my guides show me from this side. And then we elevate all that old energy out. So as that old energy comes out, your soul goes into a soul remembrance. So when you're going into a soul remembrance through time, as in going back 100 years or 500 years or 1,000 or 2,000 or however far back your soul will be triggered, it's left a gaping hole to heal. How we heal people and planet at the same time. Think of the figure 8, intrinsically connected. People and planet are intrinsically connected. So by lifting the energy of the earth and helping the earth and the planet heal, what we're actually doing is lifting the energy of people at the same time, bringing forward all the problems of the past to find designs and solutions of the better future that we've all long dreamt of, you know, and a better healthcare system for one, you know, it's something I'm working on right now. And a more healed healthcare system. Remember, we've got a lot of healthcare workers who are exhausted. And they are, from counsellors, you know, we've gotten word from counsellors in the UK. They're all exhausted too. Everybody's exhausted. And that's okay right now for people's mental health. It's okay to feel grotty. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel whatever you want to feel right now. Feel what your soul feels. Grieve it for, you know, a little bit of time. Let it elevate out. And what, you know, I did last night was take that old energy that caused a lot of hurt and trauma in my life and placed it into the fire for burning of old energy. So I drew that old energy out of myself, threw it in the fire. Helped Dad and my husband to do the same. So, you know, there are many ways of cleansing a soul now, because we're all going through soul trauma, but so is the planet. That's why the planet's shaking about everywhere. Planetary healing, Akashics of the planet. And that's what I've got, the Akashics of the planet, not just the collective. That we've all got to now work on together to heal. Collectively. Planet, people, everything else, as I said in the documents. You know, just by combining my care training with holistic healing, that was a great way forward that ended up being my cure for cancer, which then became a reversal process for my degenerative disc that's gone back to sciatica. So I'm finding a reversal process in my own body, a physical way of body healing without heavy tablets, or in, you know, in my case in the past, morphine. It was the only thing that worked on my body at the time. Shame I wasn't given enough of it because I was in terrible pain. However, akin to torture. But however, the flip side of that is I went, no, you're not killing me off this way. I'm fighting back. And my determination got me back up from cancer and went, no, not today. And went and found a cure that ended up, you know, and I'm 2 months left, you know, from hopefully all clear. 2 months and I'll be 3 years all clear, making it a holistic, viable cure for cancer. You have to be 3 years clear to make it a viable cure. So I'm looking forward to this next stage of creating, because I'm recreating what I did, creating it obviously into tablet form, and then obviously it's another alternative to healing from cancer, even if it benefits your mental health. One design creates another with me. It sends a spiral of creativity opening out for me. So I'm looking forward to, you know, developing more on that. That's what I've been doing all this time, you know, and I've been flitting in and out. I'm developing ways of helping others. I'm still helping a lot of people in the community. Still, you know, may not leave the house as much, but I'm spending a lot of time doing Reiki, meditating, Reiki, meditating, Reiki. I'm just doing it because there are so many right now that need it. I haven't got time to, you know, write the self-employment forms. You know, I've got to do that coming up. But at the moment, I'm more or less doing it all for free as I find my own feet again after a long hiatus of, you know, being on rest, I suppose, after my cancer and everything else. I was exhausted and I needed rest. I also needed to do a lot of internal healing. Internalized process, cleanse, clear, release. That's how we do it in our family. And we give each other space. Obviously with my family with autism, you know, they go off into their little corners of niches and coping mechanisms, you know. My son's is gaming, you know, Adam's is magic, my daughter's is art. I've always taught everybody in my life creativity helps coping mechanisms. That's what I learned through working with autism before the kids were born, you know. So there are lots of different healing methods we can find and combine together as one planet now. And it's just keep working through these energy drops when they hit, because they are hard. They're really hard. The one that took us out yesterday had me on a replay of, you know, being worried about these kids and the sex trafficking rate, you know, because it's something I have always had to protect kids from, knowing the reality, having been through it myself. Taking a bad situation in my head, flipping it on its head and helping everybody else. It's a way of supporting other victims. I've always been known as a safe house for domestic violence victims. For Shropshire. I've had police drop people off at my door to safeguard them. Now you try and figure out what the hell happened to me, because I've given up at this point. All I know is that it was down to the paedophile and sex trafficking ring. We have to be honest about these things that we're seeing planetary-wise, globally, in order to create the solutions. And dark web is where most of the creepy crawly evil stuff are taking place. And again, why I cleanse down old buildings, because what these pedophiles in the living do is take the dark magic casting spells, they use them to summon demons, trap them in a book box, put them out on the dark web. Then these YouTubers come along, open them up, open the book box, let out the demon. So I go around tracking them down, cleansing them down energetically, and I do need to go to Vegas. I've been keeping that little ticking time bomb over there calm, by the way, for those that know. I've been helping in my dreams, and I know which doll, by the way, that's causing the fires in the cellar. So I'm cautiously approaching that said doll from a distance. That you've got a cellar problem with fires. I know that because I've had dreams about it many times. So what I'm trying to do is bring a better balance for everybody, but YouTubers have got to be more aware of buying these things off the dark web. You really have. It's loosing demons everywhere, which is when then they go to the paedophiles, and then you have child murderers on the increase. What's going on right now in the UK? What are we seeing a lot of in the press? Child murder. Put the census together. What do most people believe? Devil worshipping in the UK. Put them together and figure it out, and you'll see it. Don't take my word on it. Research. Do your research. Know about criminology. Like I study. That's why, you know, I'm opening up my business and also adding in my psychic detective side, because I've helped on missing persons cases for a long time in Shrewsbury. Quite a few. So again, why I decided to end up being a psychic detective, you know, and looking at things from a detective's point of view and a holistic healer's point of view, and a combination of knowledge in the health and social care system, combining it all together to create some great solutions. And I know they work. Through how many years practice have I been doing this now? I think I started as a nursery nurse, 99. So training in child protection, that how to spot when a kid's being abused. I trained from about 99, from professional, obviously family life, you know, life experience on that. And but so my guys, oh, for the message for someone, the grass is not always greener on the other side. I don't know who that's for, but that's what they told me to say. Design a better future together. That's the point I'm getting to. Thank you. So it is about designing a better future for everybody in all directions. And I can witter about all this all day, because life experience and training and knowledge in healing. So the reading that I'm going into now is a healer's reading, but it can also be for people that do need an element of healing in their own lives right now. So, and it's for elevators, planet savers. Obviously, I think we've got to work a better way of saying what this healing of the planet, everything is, because we've got to go from all angles and all ways we can, and not curbing the creativity out of the educational system might be a great one. We're all spotting it in Shropshire. The creativity side has been whittled out of the educational system. People need creativity. Can't create a genius without creativity. Something my parents taught me growing up. You can't be a genius if you can't be creative. So, you know, it works. So, the first card, having the foresight, Coco. The card is Coco, and it's about your foresight, trusting your instincts right now. And these are herbal healing cards. So, as I'm a herbalist as well, so herbal healing cards, and having the foresight and the knowledge how to save the planet Earth. That lovely card there. Like Mother Nature, very green fingers growing the garden, taking care of the animals, rainbow warriors, you know, shamanic healers, all healing the planet together, having the foresight here on in, creating the solutions together openly. You know, it can't steal my job, but I will, you know, give jobs out. You know, I'm also an assessor for the angelic realm, so of mediums, so what the focus needs to be right now, irrespective of my job role or whatever that I'm taking on, exciting new things, is the fact we need our foresight to save the planet and its people at this time. Cocoa, also into my cure for cancer, interestingly. What was the thing I wrote down that I used a lot of? Chocolate. Cocoa. Cocoa bean was good for healing. So confirmation there. That's why I'm going to do another write-up for healing as well. Healing from mental health with it as well, and giving that aid and then to help others as much as we can in terms of cancer. That's why I donated my cancer cure to charities up and down the UK and varying types of cancer to see if that could help them. And that's what we do in creating cures together. So the next one, Pau d'Arco. Oh, that's right, time of day and lighting, eyesight. More my eyes go worse, my third eye, poof, well and truly lit, which creates a metamorphosis, a change the planet is long needed for the better. Healing the divine feminine, old wounds. So with me, if I looked at that card for me, I would look healing from the maternity scandal, as I helped to voice that, remember, for an entire nation, by the way. That's still hard some days, seeing all the baby loss up and down the country, you know. But this is about healing the divine feminine wounds. For it can be, you know, healing after miscarriage, healing like in myself. You know, I've had a lot of miscarriages, and healing from that, healing the divine feminine wounds within. But the planet is also healing her divine feminine wounds at this time. That's why we have Mother Nature celebrating here. Mother Nature, deity. Say she's a cross between Indian and the Green Man of Clubs. But I love these cards, that's why I saw them and I was like, they fit well. So the angelic number there, 9. So the equivalent of the wishes fulfilled card. And the 7, success and abundance. So within the healing comes success and abundance in your own lives, but also success and abundance for the planet. So there are good ways forward for healing collectively together. It's just creating that combination, cure, healing for everybody. Angel's trumpet. There you go, the death card. The ending of old patterns and ways. In terms of planet, it has got to be the ending of companies destroying the land. It's got to be an end of that. It's got to be an end to planetary destruction. From a personal healing point of view, it's got to be an end of things you'll allow and won't allow in your life. Boundaries. I've just placed up a pile of boundaries in my life for the better, that I know from a soul point of view is for the better of me and for my more higher self and more highest good. And it was hard placing those boundaries down on people I love sometimes. It's so hard. But when you're constantly treated like the doormat, after a while you think, no more. So placing down your boundaries. But this talks about old, 46 to a 10. Now, what I see when I see 4, 6, obviously numerology, we all know 4 plus 6 is 10. People go off and research angelic number 10, yeah? But break down 1 plus 0, 1, ending to a beginning. So it's the death of destruction and harm of people and planet. It is the beginning and new beginning of change, divine unconditional love for people and planet. And if you look here, there are blue bells that look like, you know, trumpets. The angelic realm has sounded its trumpet, which takes me back to a Christmas decoration that I've had since I was 18, sounding of the trumpets. And this is an original I've had since I was 18, but obviously with crystal healing, as I do crystalline healing, I was drawn to leave this out. I always find a sneaky way of leaving one Christmas decoration out each year. But the sounding of the trumpet from the angelic realm. So it is of importance. The angelic realm has sounded the trumpet of change. No more destroying people's lives. No more hurting those we love. No more casting dark magic around a planet to cause harm. And we know what the casters are down to. The paedophile ring, the sex trafficking ring. Ways of dumbing down the planet. Look at it from all angles. Really look at it from all angles. You'll find your best solutions there too on how to catch them quicker. Which is also something I'm energetically doing at the moment. And, you know, it hits you in waves while I'm tracking them. It's like, how many again? How many did they leave on this planet again? Since when has this been okay? My soul's never allowed it, because obviously what I went through as a child. So I'm not going to allow it for others. What I wouldn't allow for me, I wouldn't allow for others. And that's where I step in and protect people from the vulnerabilities of the things they can't see. Trained healer, trained care provider. It's what I do. It's what I've done in my entire lifetime. So knowledge and healing and an ending of destruction brings forward a new beginning of a planet healing. And it needs to be done so with unconditional love. Firstly, for yourself, so you can radiate it out. As many readers have, you know, all said, and we all long agree, you heal it within to heal it without. So the angel's trumpet has been sound. It's an ending now to nastiness, gossip. This is from me placing personal boundaries up that I've spotted online. Enough of the gossip and the lies and the slander about me when I can walk the walk and talk the talk through life experience in every direction. No more hurting my family. Plain and simple. No more. The death card, the ending of harm, and the beginning of unconditional healed love for those that still think it's okay to harm my family. Protection and boundaries have gone up for a good reason, because of the work that I'm doing here. Not just for myself. It's never been about myself. It's been about what I could see my whole life and trying to find ways of expressing it to heal it. For many, I got silenced on too many years. So bringing forward all the difficulties on the table brings forward the solutions for healing. So, next card. Shisandra, grace. Having the grace to treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. Having the grace to treat the planet as you would for everybody else. 2 swans, also union. Twin flame, some would say. I'm looking at all of this more from a planetary healing point of view at this point in time, because it's important, as I said, in synergy, kind of important. So having the grace within oneself to create a balance on earth. If you look, the cups pouring from, so this is your temperance card, if you like. Blending of spirits, the blending and balance between dark and light, the blending and balance between twin flame, the blending and balance of healing the planet. The green card. So this is all holistic herbal healing cards. So, and the balance is being created if you look along the waterline. Nice, refreshed and bubbling waterline. I think along the River Severn down to the River Thames. We'd love to see a nice, clean waterline. One where all our wildlife's back in it, preferably. But, you know, it's about having the grace and compassion to give to yourself as you give to others. As you heal within yourself, heal it within, around you. Balance is being restored, and that's number 11. Angelic number 10. Angelic number 11. Union. Ending the old into the new, as this card confirmed with the 10. Then 1 plus 0 is 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. 3 ones. So, having the grace and compassion to understand your own healing journey. Trust your intuition on your own healing. Never lets you down. Don't think there's ever been a time when my intuition has never let me down. Nettle, angelic number 3, action. Taking action at this time to heal. Taking action at this time to create ways of healing. Sustainability for people and planet. Taking action against those that seek to destroy it. Because in the actions it creates the abundance and ways forward for people and planet. So by taking action towards our own healing journey, we take action towards the healing of the planet. And yes, there's a serpent on the card. That is taking action against darker forces at this time. But if you look, the snakes even in autumn colours. It's a harvest, is it harvest moon, orange moon, hazy autumn colours. We've just come through, leading up to another blue moon. We've got meteor showers at the moment in the UK, a lot of them. I love sitting in front of the fire with a cup of tea, watching the meteor showers at night. It's one of my favourite ways of, you know, enjoying nature, getting back to nature. I love that. I've always done that. Stargazing, did that with my dad growing up, so. Guardian, Paolo Santo, guardians of the planet. We are working with the ancestor guardians of the planet. My great-grandmother was a guardian of the planet, breaking curses up and down the UK and wherever she travelled to, in Ireland too. I've done the same. Done that since I was 18. So it's hard work, it's draining. For anybody who's wanting to do it and join in on that one, it is demanding and draining, but it's a good job satisfaction. I love that. All these different elements I'm bringing into fairy dust and unicorn and creating a lot of healing. But we are the guardians, but we are also being contacted by the guardians of the earth. Now, this is a very shamanic card anyway. It's about taking our shamanic ways of healing, you know, and extending it out to others. But it also talks about our own spirit guides that are here for the next stage of our lives, of healing people and planet. And they are important right now. So take time to get to know your spirit guides. Like I said, meditate, heal, and speak to them. You'll be able to. Now, angelic number 55 breaks down to a 10. So down to a 1 again, the ending and beginning. The ending of thinking that the negative wave patterns of healing and remembering our guides are there to protect us. Again, 10. The next card, being watched over. And for me, I am being watched like a hawk online. And that's cool, fine, whatever. But none can harm my family or my loved ones. None can harm. So, an abundance right now. We're coming into a time of spiritual wealth. For some people it will be physical abundance, and for some it'll be monetary abundance. For some it'll be spiritual abundance. If you're lucky enough, you get all three. So again, angelic 10, endings, beginnings. The angelic number card 1. Actually, how many ones have we got in this reading now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ones. Angelic purpose. Super, super, super high angelic purpose. And bringing it all together is what I've spent years in design doing. Not just, you know, 4 years. It's taken an entire lifetime to bring all this together, to manifest it in the people I help along the way. Because every time we help somebody heal, it sends out a ripple effect. I've been doing this naturally my whole life. So you think of how many people I've helped to heal out there. I just top it up wherever I can. Some days it is exhausting. That's why I quickly learned to send out many in one go. Fill a room with your chi balls first. Envision your chi balls filling a room. Add the energy that what you need to them. Then send them out the window. Energy chi balls of love and healing. And I've been doing that for years. So look at success and abundance around you with this wealth card. For right now, there is much spiritual wealth. There is much physical wealth coming into abundance. But there's also much wealth for a planet of healing. And remember, these are healers cards. These are natural healers cards with plants and animals and wildlife on it. And we have in the pictures here lavender and mint. And the peacock. So creating healing wherever we go. That helps heal the planet. Enjoy the joy, okay, enjoy the abundance of spiritual wealth. because that should be at the top of the list. The spiritual abundance helps your soul grow. So, Gotu-Gola, higher consciousness, trusting your journey, trusting your meditation, speaking to your spirit guides, knowing that you're on the right journey in time. Angelic 17 breaks down to an 8, purpose, fulfillment. So tapping into your own spiritual energy at this time to gather ways for healing for humanity, as we are healing from that humanity level, as I said in the documents. We have got to, because I don't know about anyone else, but that one news report in England actually last night was about a music concert and fans being mean to other fans based on where they were in the planet. And that's the sorry state this planet has got to, where our nation's leaders have created these problems and the people are turning it on each other. Seeing it from a planetary level. That's why we've got to create so much balance and healing for many at this time. So by tuning in to your own energy, to your own higher consciousness, you will bring about planetary healing. 101 as I look up. How many more ones? This is angelic realm purpose that I've been building my whole life. And my angelic purpose right now is to provide solutions in many ways we can, and getting other people on board to do the same from every level we can. Any creative level we can. So tapping into your own energy for finding solutions. One collective consciousness. I'm just being told to add to that. And on the ley lines, we are one collective consciousness. That's why I can quite easily tap in and find pedophiles and sex traffickers and find the roots of where they come from. To finding the solutions, i.e. put them behind bars for life, making sure they're not near families. Safeguarding. So, the last card in this series then brings Ginkgo, breakthrough. No. Sword of Justice. The Ace of Swords. The equivalent of the Justice. Cuts away any difficulties for people, for planet, for animal kingdom, and the crown of justice at the top for the entire planet. Look at Merlin's little arm peeking out there. So, that is about new beginnings also. And it is card number 39, which breaks down to a 12, which breaks down to angelic 3, purpose. What we are doing has a purpose for healing. Healing waves of many. Healing waves of time. On the time of the earth, the history of the earth, the reincarnations of the soul. That's what we're doing. We're healing all the karma of humanity and the planet at the same time to release some of that karmic impact which is coming out in climate change, because humans never listen. How many of us have been saying this since they were kids? So we have to heal it all collectively. Each and every one of us around the planet. That's all of us. Any way you can. So I'm going to pull a couple of angelic purpose cards. I'm going to call these angelic purpose. Too many fanatic ones there. There you go. I'm going to leave these in because of what we're actually talking about. They do make sense. So, when we are such healers and energy sensitives, we take on the emotions of the planet. That's where we transcend the energy. We take on the emotions of others as the nature of the empath, as healers, as givers. You're being called in to hone in and remember you're a divine empath that guides and nurtures others along the journey. Utilize your natural compassion for others as you go along, finding ways to give to others. Don't forget to nurture yourself too. So, as all these cards are confirming, you know, we feel the highs and the lows of the hurt and of the damage of the planet, the damage of humanity, the damage of animals. So it is as those things are realized around a planet, we feel the energy of that. It makes our energy crash down. We feel low, we feel depressed. Everyone thinks we're crazy, that whole thing. I've been called it too, for being a spiritually awakened soul growing up with having my children. I got attacked for it for years. You get used to it. But why should we? It's got to change, and this is what we're feeling when we're reaching our lows. It's the realizations of how many are hurting, that don't need to be hurting right now, without naysayers, haters, gossipers, lies, traitors, destroyers of the planet, destroyers of humanity. We all have to stop and think and heal collectively together. Now I've taken myself off, isolated myself, almost like a sabbatical, but not being able to travel for the moment, on a spiritual healing journey within. As all these confirmations started coming forward of, yes, that happened, you were right there, we agree with that. You know, as all these investigations came forward, I was being hit with waves of grief for a life that was taken away from me and my entire family. In all the things we went through, which turned out in the end we were the bright way up. That's what hit me the hardest. And then you figure out the sex trafficking ring in Shropshire has been going on since the 70s. That hit me even harder. In fact, I know I can go further back, 50s, go further back in time. Puritans, religion, as I discussed in the documents. You know, it goes all directions. But they often say religion is for those that, spirituality is for those that have already been to hell. Religion is, I can't remember the saying now, but you know what I mean anyway. So I find a combined healing thing there too, and ways forward for healing and forgiveness in all directions, and helping victims in that way too, from other angles, still working on those. So feeling what others feel, don't forget to cleanse it out, taking time for yourself. And again, combining our work together is a problem shared. Through the difficulties of life, remember to cast out a voice of assistance from your loved ones. That includes the spirit realm too, the angelic realm, source energy, God source energy, light being energy, whatever you want to believe in, as long as it's not dark and harmful and causes intentional harm to others. That's where I step in and go, boundaries crossed. If it causes an intention to harm, boundaries crossed. So, listening to the assistance from your loved ones, they will guide and support you through all your troubled times. Also ask out to the universe and the answer will arrive when you least expect it. Praying above brings answers down. So by sending your worries up to the universe, doesn't matter what you believe in, try it. Send it up to the universe. See what comes back down in things and good situations happening around you. Look at the positive. But by sharing the problems together for problems for humanity and planet and animal, we're getting through it together. The emotional healing side of all of this now, not just in terms of us leaders of the future, but and leaders in the present, but it sends out waves of healing for others too along the way. And when we share the problems together, we share the solutions together. We share an element of higher wave healing, and it comes from your higher self. Your higher self knows what to do, and you can be in tune with your own higher self. I did recently, and my higher self said, we're proud of you. Proud of what you've done. Get in tune with your higher self. Meditate. Try it. See what your higher self says. Not your 3D self who's got problems all day, every day, you know, maybe financial difficulties because we're still in a, you know, not very fair and just system. So if you've got financial difficulties, you know, sharing those problems with others finds the solutions. It works all different ways, but you heal it no matter what. Problem shared is a problem halved, says my spirit guides. It certainly is. So, heal all the wounds within. Part of life's process along the journey is to heal all wounds of the past so that you're functioning on a more high vibrational level. When we function from a higher vibrational level, we are functioning at our more truer soul state. Take your time. So it's not a race to see who can heal the quickest. You know, take your time. We go over the, you know, I've healed from wounds and then something's happened and it's re-ripped open an old wound. So I've had to go back in and heal it again. And it's each time you have to do it on repeat, it strengthens you. It gives you courage and it gives you the push to carry on every single day. And that's what it does. So take your time to heal all the wounds within. Nature's healing is the best medicine. So, again, the freedom of expression. Angelic number 3. Throat chakra and the flower agate. So, these are cards of multitude healing. Throat chakra right now, the clearness of expression. I don't think my throat chakra has ever been clearer on what I'll allow, what I won't allow in my own life. Where my boundaries get crossed, I now say, nuh-uh, too much. So it is about clearing of the throat chakra, clearing of the energy of the throat chakra, and you can do that with flower agate. And the cleansing of the throat chakra at this time. Angelic number 3, purpose. Followed by third eye chakra, consciousness, lapis lazuli. So, and angelic number 2. So, at this time, again, taking note of your own consciousness, your own intuition, your own messages from your own spirit guides. Trusting in your third eye chakra, which is here. Heal, you know, cleanse it out to decalcify it, because sometimes, if not used, they calcify. Such as, you know, as how crystals are formed, calcification. Interesting. So, angelic number 2. And it is talking about cleansing out the third eye of the planet too. We're all intrinsically connected. We can all heal this together. All wounds for the greater healing. By adapting. Adaptability. Air element. Lace agate. Angelic number 23. Which breaks down to a 5. So despite the challenges, as 5s usually come with an element of challenge, doesn't it? Despite the challenges, we have adaptability. Humans adapt, animals adapt, wildlife adapts. But we do have the capacity to be adaptable during these challenges. Also healing of the air. Air pollution. Enough said on that one. I think everyone knows now after my trip to London, you know. And finding a couple of things. Air quality changes still need to be made still. Net zero still needs to be created. But from a more actually doing it, taking action, for instance, listening to your own expression, you know, your own intuition on these net zero policies, listening to consciousness and find your freedom of expression by bringing forward the challenges, but by being adaptable and expandable. Expansion, which is angelic number 9, which is your personal North Node. It is also planetary North Node. As we know, planetary North Node has been tipped on its axis. That's why Antarctica is no longer in its South Node. We've tipped, so if you imagine the Earth was like that originally, we have now tipped from the Japanese tsunami. Yeah, so expansion of ideas for healing the planet. Listening to your own North Node within what's right for your soul at this point in time. And opal is the good stone for healing. Or adding a little opal colour to your healing journey. Now pull one more card and we'll call it that's it. So we are all entering a North Node for the planet. We're all shifting and realigning to the changes of the planet. That's why we get the waves of highs and lows. But North Node's realigning. Our own personal North Node, the Earth's North Node, is now realigning as well. And having that deep knowing, the sacral chakra, the deep knowing that these changes for the better can be made. Angelic number 6. And Sunstone is the healing stone to go with this. So having the deep knowing of where the challenges are, meeting and facing them head on, creating healing, sending it outwardly for others. Healers can do the same on a planetary level too. We can all do that. So having the deep knowing that this is for the greater good, this whole journey of life in this life is for the greater good, creating a difference around the planet. Having a deep knowing that what we want to create can be successful, listening to that gut instinct, listening to your spirit guides, listening to what is being missed maybe, or what is being shown, the flip side of that, in order to create solutions. So having a deep knowing and trusting one one's own instincts at this time. Trusting and knowing the universe has our back at all times, as healers, as mediums, as guides, as spiritual truth seekers, as anyone wanting to see the truth out there. Knowing the truth within, seeing the truth without. And the deeper the wound, the deeper the healing. Always look at the problem, or, you know, take for instance, back of the card here, problem is one side. Flip it over to get the solution. There's always ways of healing everything. So, I hope that's helped. I think I'm going to leave this reading there. 1:20:44. So I am going to leave this reading there, and I hope that's helped. And keep going with these planetary shifts. You know, although we are feeling a lot of lows in between these elevations, we are creating massive amounts of change and abundance in ways no one ever thought possible. But it always starts up top and it filters down through the healer's system to then heal within, to heal without. Remember that for healers out there. And enjoy the delicateness of new beginnings. That is something coming through at the end of it. As it is a delicate time for people and planet. I think the ending of the saying snowflake comes to mind. That would be nice to see an end of. We're not all snowflakes for seeing the truth, really, are we? So I hope that helps. Love to all, and speak soon.